Mark Zuckerberg warns a reckoning is coming for one of the biggest scams in America. Of course, we're talking about the student loan crisis. It's the reckoning is coming, and it's a scam. It is a scam. They should not. It should not cost as much as it does to get a decent education. And then with these leftist schools is just ridiculous. Thank God I had the wherewithal and the fortitude to go to a conservative college where they actually taught you how to research and learn things on your own rather than them indoctrinizing you. Thank God. I got my undergrad and my graduate degree from a conservative school, and I definitely feel like I'm more educated than a lot of these people that's coming out of these leftist schools. Um, but we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna play some clips and hear what Mark Zuckerberg has to say about it. Even though y'all know I'm not a fan of Zuckerberg, but I think he's accurate on this when it comes to school. So again, we're gonna play the clips. We're gonna talk about it. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account. So follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this comes from Zero Hedge, and they report that the student loan bubble is about to burst, and Zuckerberg knows it. He says there's one huge problem with college today that no one can ignore anymore. It started with the strange but telling moment, one that pulled back the curtain on the secretive world of Mark Zuckerberg. On this weekend podcast, comedian Theo Vaughn joked about wanting to dig a tunnel underground. What he didn't expect was for Zuckerberg to casually admit he had already done it. So let's get to that. Let's get to that clip here. Here we go.
I don't even know what I would have. I would have an underground tunnel, even that it came right back up next to where it started.
I do have an underground tunnel.
Do you really?
Yeah. Yeah.
In USA?
I have this ranch in Kauai. Yeah. Where there's this whole thing where people were like, there's this whole meme about how people are saying I built this like bunker underground. It's like more of underground storage type situation. But yeah, no, it's Oh
wow. Zucky got that bunky. What's under the ground is more water, right?
It's basically what you just said. It's sort of a tunnel that just goes to another building.
Yeah.
But it's
a good place to hide.
How much money do you have?
That's what I would say, dude. How big is that tunnel? Is your tunnel pretty big, or what's it like?
It's not that big of a tunnel.
Yeah.
It's I made I put a reel on Instagram one day of Priscilla kind of making fun of me playing video games with some friends down there. But it's yeah, no, it's all good.
Yes, definitely. But this is a crazy area. I haven't spent a lot of time.
You know how the internet is. The internet will always make things seem like they're crazier than they are. But what's in Hawaii, it's like having a little storm shelter underground tunnel is pretty sweet.
That's the thing right there?
Nah, I don't think so.
That's insane.
Someone's rendering.
Is that Roblox? Who built it
Looks
for you?
Looks closer to Roblox than what the thing is.
Everyone knows he got a bunker, a huge bunker underground. He's trying to play it off like he doesn't. But as the interview went on, Zuckerberg shifted gears and dropped a much bigger bomb. This is what this is what we're here for. He admitted what millions of Americans are starting to feel. College isn't preparing young people for the real world anymore, and the student debt crisis is heading straight for a reckoning. It's a personal subject for Zuckerberg, who famously dropped out of Harvard to build Facebook and now sees the system he left behind collapsing under its own weight. So let's play the clip here. Here we go.
I do think like a lot of people, I'm not sure that college is preparing people for like the jobs that they need to have today. Right. I mean, I think that's like, there's a big issue on that. And like all the.
It's so crazy. They're so unprepared. I'm hearing stories about people going to job interviews with their moms and things like people feeling entitled during interviews and not interviewing well. Like they are not preparing these kids for the real world.
The student debt issues are like really big issues. I mean, the fact that college is just so expensive for so
Yeah.
many people, and then like
It's
you
crazy.
graduate and you're in debt.
Well, you're not even guaranteed a job either. You would
No,
think
yeah.
at a certain rate you're paying, you'd be guaranteed some sort of beginner employment.
Yeah, no, I think that's probably the biggest issue with it. Is it would be one thing if it were just kind of like a social experience, but you started off neutral. The fact if it's not preparing you for the jobs that you need and you're kind of starting off in this big hole, then I think that's not good. I mean, that I think there's going to have to be a reckoning with, and
It's a good point.
people are going to have to kind of figure out whether that makes sense. But I don't know. People, it's sort of been this taboo thing to say of like maybe not everyone needs to go to college, and because
I
there's
don't
like a
think
lot
that's
of jobs
taboo.
that
It's
don't
true.
require that. And
Yeah.
but I think people are probably coming around to that opinion a little more now than maybe like 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's a gimmick. Not if you're going to be a doctor or a therapist like myself. You need to be trained, and you have to have residency and practicums and stuff like that. I get it. Certain jobs you definitely need to go to schooling for, but not everything. Not some of these degrees that they're handing out in these leftist schools is ridiculous. Like DEI degrees and like what? Really? Like what are you gonna? That's crazy. And he wasn't done yet. The conversation soon turned to another taboo, one of the most tech CEOs wouldn't dare to touch. The role of media elites in misjudging, mislabeling, and underestimating ordinary people. Strange coming from the man involved in censoring millions of Americans and the president himself, but nonetheless, Zuckerberg unleashed on the media. He slammed the entire idea that the public is too dumb to make their own decisions, and belief quietly pushed by many in the media. And they think you're stupid. They think you're stupid. But here we go.
It's like I've always been a person who really kind of believes that people understand, people are smarter than people think.
Yes.
And I think in general, are able to make good decisions for their lives. And when they do things that like the media or whatever thinks don't make sense, it's generally because the media doesn't understand their life, not because the people are stupid. Like if people are saying something that seems wrong, it's not usually misinformation. It's usually that you don't understand what's going on in that person's life. And I just think that there's like a certain kind of paternalism in some of the like mainstream narratives and some of the media narratives. But
like a know-it-allism almost.
yeah, it's like
there has been for sure for years. I think it's starting to change more.
Yeah, I think it's a little more receptive as maybe some of those cultural or media elite people like are having a harder time predicting what's going to happen in the world. Maybe there's a little more humility of like, okay, maybe we don't understand all of this.
I have to say, it definitely sounds like Zuckerberg is starting to get red pilled. I still don't trust him. I still don't trust him at all. But we see it. He's exercising. He's hanging out at the UFC, working out, talking about the media and the scam of college and stuff. It's definitely sounding like Mark Zuckerberg is becoming more and more red pilled. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Leave y'all comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.